Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome to our first community stream of 2024. I'm Sketch, Unishek, how you doing?
Good. I'm excited to be here. First stream of the year, right? Get to talk a little bit about what's next for Infinite. Should be a good time.
Absolutely. I want to wish a belated Happy New Year to everybody out there across the Halo community. We are thrilled to have you here. We are, of course, live coming from our studio here in Redmond, Washington. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. Want to give you a heads up on what is next for Halo Infinite. Before we do that, also want to welcome another one of our favorite friends and guests here. Please welcome Forge Lord Michael Shore. Michael,
Hey,
thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here once again.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Going to kick off the year in style. So give everybody just a quick update. We are going to run through what you can expect with our next Halo Infinite update, which, by the way, will be dropping on January 30th. So we are right around the corner from our next free update to the game. We are also then going to switch gears and talk to Tashi, and we've got all the juicy details that you're looking forward to on what's next for HCS and what you can expect for year 3 of our Championship Series program. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But guys, before we go any further, I also want to give a quick shout out. If you're on Twitch, we do have drops enabled. Yep. So make sure you are logged in. Hopefully you've already connected your, you know the drill by now, right? So hopefully you've already got that your account's linked up. But I think you just need to watch for half an hour. Hopefully you'll stick with us for the whole show.
Yeah.
But we got drops enabled for
show
for
should
the
be
today.
Interesting enough to keep people around for half an hour.
We can hope. We can
Some
only
good
hope.
stuff.
We can
Some
only
good
hope,
stuff.
John. Sometimes we do end up going an hour over schedule. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think we're drinking 4 cans of game fuel on the stream this time, right?
No,
maybe a little. Maybe a little.
Might not be quite as frenetic as our end of year stream.
It's not coffee?
No, it's not coffee.
All right, so I want to just kick things off by jumping right into what you can expect with Halo Infinite's next update. And let's kick that off by talking about customization. Now, some of you may have already seen some buzz, some speculation. There was a tantalizing thumbnail image that dropped yesterday. It's been fun watching some of the energy and excitement there. Now, without further ado, John, let's just pull back the curtain. We're going to jump right into the build here and just go ahead. There it is.
Let's go. You got the Mark IV core, the fan favorite armor coming from the Halo Wars series. It just looks so good. I'll zoom in a little bit here. We get an even closer look. I decked him out, so it looks kind of like Jerome. You know, you've got that Spartan effect on the shoulder there, kind of mimicking his emblem on the shoulder.
Love it.
As well as the chest piece there. But phenomenal looking Spartan. The team did great work on making this Mark IV come together, come to life, and just probably be one of our best just base cores in the game, if not the best.
So clean.
I love it so much.
Good. Yeah, and let's, I want to reiterate here, this is a full armor core, as you're seeing here in the armor hall. So also it's free for folks that maybe haven't played Infinite in quite a while. All the armor cores in the game are available for free. And when you log in on January 30th, after the update goes out, you'll just suddenly have the Mark IV waiting for you in the armor hall. So really excited to get this into everybody's hands. And of course, as we've expanded our customization story over the last, 6 to 9 months, there's a lot of cool ways you can adorn your Mark IV to make it your own, right?
Yeah. But like the Mark IV, you mentioned it's a core, right? That means you can totally customize it, right? We had the kits come out end of last year with the hero kit, and people were like, can we customize stuff even more? Luckily, the Mark IV is one of those cores that you can do top to bottom. But we do have some cool helmets, right?
Yeah, right. So pretty excited. This will be we have. Well, let me frame this for a second. As many of you probably know, we're only a few weeks away from the debut of Halo the Series on Paramount Plus. Season 2 will kick off. And to help commemorate that and sort of share in the excitement, the team has created 3 helmets that are sort of an homage to 3 of the helmets in the series. And we are excited that these are going to be offered as free ultimate rewards during the first part, I believe the first couple of weeks here after the update comes out. So, John, why don't you let us know what we're looking at here?
Yeah, we've got Kai125 with her visor right here on top of a Mark VII core. We've got cross-core helmets now, so you can apply these to any core, but Kai's just looks amazing. And we also have visor colors that correspond to the visors that they're wearing in the show. You've got Riz here, which I thought the red visor kind of matched nicely with a Watchdog Neo coating.
Nice flex on your Watchdog coating.
Yeah. I had to show it off. I put the time and effort in. I get to show it off. But
Sure, we'll grant it to ourselves after the show.
But yeah, Riz looks absolutely awesome with that Watchdog Neo. And then you have Vanek coming up here. I put him on a Yoroi because that EOD kind of just oozes like a bigger, bulkier, kind of look, especially if you're trying to dispose of some
amazing.
ordnance.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Really
and these are honestly, I think, probably the coolest Ultimate Rewards that we've had in the game.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of helmet chatter out there, so I'm just excited. Like, these helmets aren't coming off either, guys. These helmets are staying on. So that part we can rest assured. John, you mentioned cross-core helmets. That was a new addition that I believe that was part of our Season 5 update, right? We've been on this sort of journey to basically give players more flexibility and more control, and based on player feedback, people just want to be able to mix and match across the different cores, right?
Yeah.
So we started with coatings. We have a ton of coatings in the game. Going forward and retroactively, we started that work with Season 4, continued in Season 5, so now we have a huge variety of coatings that you can apply to any core. Now we have the helmets that you mentioned, but we're not done.
We're not done.
And I think I've noticed something here that some of these models that you set up don't quite look the way that I remember them. So what's next for cross-core, John?
Yep. So any eagle-eyed people have noticed you've got cross-core shoulders coming. The multi-use shoulders right now are loaded up on this Yoroi core. You see the Mark 7 right here. And then you also have a SPI Mirage shoulder on this side. And I've loaded up a bunch of these Spartans. This one had the Rakshasa. I love that Elite shoulder kind of on the side there. That comes from Rakshasa.
Well, you were saying earlier too, like you always got to go asymmetrical, right?
And
always got to go.
Almost always go asym on the shoulders. It's just the way you do it.
It's your vibe.
Well, are you more of a you're a symmetry guy? You like your shoulders to kind of match?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna explore this.
Okay. Well, now you can branch out. There's no constraints here.
Once they gave you the option, right, back in Reach, it was just like, I'm doing it, Or Halo 3, sorry. You're just like, I'm mixing, I'm matching, and I'm making it go crazy. So you can see here, we've got the Eagle Strike core. I added a Reach shoulder. And
that is a chunky boy.
I made him big. And then the Dragon here. This one I think is from the Yoroi core.
That's
and
so
we
good.
just were able to apply a bunch of different things across all the Spartans. And it just looks so good. Rakshasa core with a Mark 7 shoulder here and a Mark 5 shoulder there. And we've got a nice little comp here that's got tons of combinations. And you're seeing the same set applied to different cores. And it's really cool that now we've unlocked this ability, right? You mentioned coatings, helmets, we've done visors, we're doing shoulders. We've really just continued to unlock the potential, and I think the customization in Infinite just continues to get better.
Yeah, I want to stress too, again, for maybe players that haven't experienced what we did for the helmets or the coatings. On January 30th, when the update lands, this will just automatically happen. So all the helmets that are already in your inventory will suddenly just have multi-core functionality, and they'll just work, much the way we did for coatings and helmets prior. So super excited, looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure some folks on the team crunched the numbers, and there's like billions of possible combinations now of how you could really make your Spartan your own. So
I've seen that word bandied about. I
mean, that does not surprise me.
It doesn't. I can't wait to see the new levels of creativity that the community brings to bear as they make their Spartans their own. So that's one piece of what's coming January 30th. Super excited. We really appreciate the passion that we've heard. We know we've been on this journey together, hearing your feedback and trying to do a better job of improving that story, customization, and I want to give a shout out to the team because it's been kind of a passion project, labor of love, and I think Shoulders represents really the pinnacle. I mean, I think we checked the most impactful boxes there, and it's exciting to see what you're going to do with that. Yeah.
I can't wait to just sit there once the update drops, and I'll just spend some serious time in there, and fiddle with the customization.
So another part of our customization story that we want to touch on is basically we'll have ways that you could earn customization items to adorn your Mark IV or other cores if that's your preference. Some folks, if you've been playing Infinite, you're probably familiar. In Season 5, we introduced operations. And I'll give a quick primer here for folks that aren't up to speed. But, operations are the evolution of the events we used to have in Halo Infinite. These are time-based, approximately 4 to 6 weeks long. They include a 20 free tier operations pass that you will progress through and will allow you to unlock customization objects, items, coatings, XP boosts, things like that as you play the game. And by the way, not constrained by challenges. It's pretty much play your way, play whatever you want, and it's just an opportunity to earn some cool free stuff that's usually all in a thematic wrapper. So when Season 5 debuted, we did have 2 operations. Currently, Winter Contingency 3 is live in the game right now. Now, one aspect to note about operations is at the end of that defined time period, they will go away. So you basically will have the duration to earn your track, or you do have the option of upgrading to premium, which will essentially get you an additional cosmetic unlock item, but it also now makes that operations pass kind of last forever. It never expires.
Yeah, so it doesn't go away.
It doesn't if you go to premium. Otherwise, you're still free to unlock everything that you can during the duration of that window. Another cool aspect of operations that's based on player feedback is, with the old event system, it was cool to be able to earn stuff, but if you happen to be out of town or away from your Xbox or PC for a period of time, you missed out. So when an operation has concluded, it will then become available in the shop. It will just be available as an evergreen purchase. And at any point you want to, you can go in, you can pick up the operation and use the Battle Pass switcher and go back and progress it at your own leisure. So it's a pretty good system. We're pretty excited to kind of go more forward with that. So as we move forward with this release onwards, operations are really what we're leaning into. And this is the way that we will deliver kind of ongoing, every 4 to 6 weeks, 20 tracks of free content that players will be able to progress and earn as you see fit. So our next first operation to kick off 2024 is Spirit of Fire. Definitely some crossover vibes. We got a video here. It's rifling through at speed, but just giving you all a glimpse of just kind of what you can expect. I believe a lot of the cosmetic options in this operations pass are kind of geared towards your Mark IV. But given that we have cross-core functionality here across the board, you're not limited to that, right? So what you're seeing here is
looks so good.
Just a quick pan of what's available in the Spirit of Fire Operation Pass when that goes live on January 30th. Now, this release will also include 2 more operations passes that will come subsequently. We'll have more details on the dates of those later, but we did want to give you a quick sneak peek at what those entail. The next operation after Spirit of Fire will be Cyber Showdown 3. So we're bringing back kind of that techie aesthetic that we've seen a few times before.
A slight change on it this time around. We call it like the viral machine kind of aesthetic. Looks really, really cool. You'll see more cables and wires sticking out, and it just looks a little bit more menacing.
This might be my favorite.
I was going to ask,
of all 3.
Yeah, it feels like it'd be right in your wheelhouse, right? I really like those shoulders we just glossed over too, because they adopt the same texture pattern as the visor. Kind of can create some cool looks there. And then once we complete Cyber Showdown 3, the next operation to come after that is the Return of the Yappening. Everyone's favorite kind of grunt theme shenanigans. Some pretty fun stuff in here that kind of builds on that theme.
The grunt focus, just having fun with the wild chaos that is grunt, themed items and humor along with that, should be good. I love those shoulders that we're about to see. Yeah, the shoulders look great, and the helmet almost kind of banished themed.
Yeah, I can see the inspiration there. So naturally, as we get closer to release for January 30th, you can see and you'll hear more about the customization coming on Halo Waypoint. And then, of course, we'll have more details to share about Cyber Showdown and the Yappening, in the weeks and months ahead. So, again, operations, big part of Halo Infinite going forward, and players can look forward to a new 20-tier operation pass approximately every 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to change gears out of the customization lane, and let's talk about our new map coming on as part of our January 30th update. We're going to jump into the build here. And Unisheck, you are already inside this map, and take it away.
Yeah, so the brand new map is called Illusion. It's an arena map, symmetrical, and it's got some cool bits and bobs throughout. Right now I'm kind of showing I'm in my starting spawn base. You see the sniper perch way up there, and you can look across at their sniper. Really cool center lane combat, but one thing that I love about this map is that you're kind of in this Oni research facility, and you've got the power-ups kind of being studied. I think this is the original Halo 1 camouflage that you can see on one end, and then we'll get to the other side. It just looks so cool when you kind of look at the storytelling elements of the map.
I'm a big fan of those storytelling vignettes and maps, and a big shout out. Honestly, a lot of the forgers in the community have done some great work on that front. Some very creative execution. By the way, this is crazy too. Just a clean sightline, base to base right here. Little sniper hallway warfare.
Sniper play on this map is really fantastic.
Yeah, and you see it's kind of got lanes, that center lane and the side lanes over here. Lots of verticality, which might remind players of some CE. But a cool thing is, if you're on the left side, you're like, oh, my teammate's getting damaged on the right side. You can jump on over, catch the cannon, and then you land over here, and you can swap sides. And it's symmetrical, right? So you go both ways on this cannon to one side, to the other. And I just love how massive everything looks in here.
Yeah.
Really cool. And anyone who is paying attention closely noticed I've got the CE kind of assault rifle there that I'm running around with. Love this. This is part of the Spirit of Fire operation. If you go with the premium option, you can get this CE assault rifle, and it just looks stellar. But I'm going to run around to this other side here real quick, and then we can take a look at that center hallway, which is my favorite part of the map, and probably everyone's favorite part of the map.
It looks very.
We'll go there in a second.
It looks very enticing, but also like maybe there's more to it than it appears at first glance.
Yeah.
It's definitely dangerous.
So we saw the overshield spot just back there kind of sparking up and exploding, but the camo side looked pretty normal. You can see active camo emitting, but the overshield's got an error. What's the active camo emitting?
Ooh.
Yeah. So you go in the center hallway, and you're camouflaged. Any combat in here, all the players are camouflaged. If you run around and jump and shoot, your camo will be revealed. But you can run in here. You can maybe go for a flag run down the center, try and get camoed. But everyone's going to expect that play. So you got to make sure you're doing really smart, calculated plays when you're going through the center here.
Oh, it's a melee camper's paradise.
Yeah.
All these corners are making me nervous.
Yeah, and it's got these side little areas which are funnel into the center, which are really cool too.
You know, Shore, I think you were saying the other day, just even from playtesting. I mean, I don't know that we've ever had something like this in a Halo map ever.
For sure in Infinite, I haven't seen any spaces that use game mechanics this way or equipment this way. Yeah, and I was saying, like, I was initially I was dubious of whether or not we were going to be able to pull this off, right? I think it's kind of a big thing to do, to let people have camo in a hallway like that, right? But the team just knocked out of the park. The gameplay on this map is fantastic. I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun to go in there and try and get the upper hand on the other team, only to maybe get meleeed out of the corner by Sketch.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I mean, I'm scared of this hallway, but I also could totally see myself just kind of crouching and chilling and waiting for my moment to strike. But
and I think in general, like, big props to Cliff Schultz. He was the level designer on this one. I really love the movement in this map. It's super fluid. It's fun for movement. Like you saw the kinetic launchers, right? It's just fun to be always moving, always cruising through the air. A lot of snipes in the air I've seen in playtests.
I've wanted to go through here and hit a snipe on someone as I'm flying through. One day, I'll go for it. Someone will go for it.
Mint Blitz will beat you to it.
Yeah.
Someone will do that.
That looks like that shot. That moment was made for Mint Blitz. I'm excited. I think we're going to see a really interesting mix of some cool strategies, but also a fair amount of just shenanigans, because there's an unpredictability aspect that I think we'll see in that hallway. So we'll have more to sort of say and show about this map on Halo Waypoint in the coming, I think, sometime next week. Stay tuned. We'll have a blog on that. So I don't want to go too deep here, since we do have more to come on this map. But of course, we have Michael Shore here, the Forge Lord. So and of course, it would not be an Infinite update without some cool Forge.
We're going to talk about Forge
additions, and of course, we want to talk about Forge. I mean, Forge really changed the game for Infinite when it launched, and then really we took it to the next level with the AI toolkit. Season 5 was a Forge lovers paradise, and we're all reaping the rewards of that, right? Just continuing to see amazing experiences, amazing creations. So, John and Shore, take it away. Tell us what we can expect for Forge with our January 30th update.
We're getting close.
So yeah,
you're such a tease.
Totally.
What's around the corner?
So this is a community ask from forever for Infinite Forge, and it's the Covenant palette. Classic Covenant purple. The Forge art team did just a stellar job on this stuff. There's 70 plus objects in the Covenant palette. All these curved surfaces that I know a lot of you forgers have been trying to recreate with our existing objects. Now the objects can do the work for you, right? So structure pieces, accents. There's some VFX in there, and some decals I think I saw too.
Fly on through the
So
incredible
the
high charity doors.
Covenant Dance Party Zone right here.
I set up a little club in here.
This is a VIP room at HCS.
Yep, After
soon.
Dark Club. This does look... It just... Like,
that's free, by the way.
we're home. It just feels... It's so good to be just bathed in purple and all these smooth surfaces.
Podium.
I mean,
just like,
what do you think the first map will be that the Forge community might want to try to make with this new palette, guys?
Maybe midship.
Oh, I sure hope so.
Definitely expect midship will get remade. But you mentioned decals, right? We've got a bunch of the Covenant alphabet here. Of course, I tossed in some weapons for decoration. Lots of cool. You mentioned the effects. This galaxy effect is one of my favorites. And it's actually giant by default, and I shrunk it all the way down so it could fit in here. This, I wanted to add a little bit of a nice little vibe of like a Covenant bridge, on their ship. They always had like these holograms floating around. So figured I could add that in. This one is actually really cool. Some fans might recognize this from a bunch of the Covenant maps, right? You get to add that. I just scaled it up to make it kind of look like a wall. And add it in as I fly through the ground here.
Yeah, and if you don't want it purple, of course you can go in and change it if you want it. Maybe it's Covenant orange. I don't know. Like we've never seen that, but I bet you we're gonna see it.
Yeah, when we were talking about this before, it's like the Covenant have had a bunch of different versions of purple. Yeah. Some things have kind of gone red, right? So you can totally customize these, all of these objects, so they fit whatever kind of Covenant era or ship you're going for, and it works out really well.
Dude, the Forge art team just crushed it.
Yeah, they crushed it.
This is absolutely phenomenal.
Let's look at that. We were looking at one of there's a very famous Covenant piece that they added that's out in
on the
John's
outside.
John's got another room.
Yeah, so I had Cortana set up on the plinth. Yeah, just wanted to make sure she was able to open the door for us. But lots of cool pieces here. You can see them all. Tons of pieces and objects, and they're all customizable, scalable. Right here's that galaxy effect. And it's normal size, so you could scale that up even more if you wanted.
Put it in the skybox if you wanted, right?
Some default objects, but of course,
that's
there it is.
The legendary Covenant Sniper Tower. You can just build it up, set it up, and I don't know if I showed you guys this. I tossed up some snipers up here because I wanted to be ready
just for kicks.
This pairs really nicely with the AI toolkit, right? Put some snipers up there and snipers. Get wrecked.
And we're gonna play this more a little bit later in the stream, but I do just want to emphasize, like I'm blown away by this. I also be the first to admit I am not a forger. I just don't really have the skill set, and the things that I've seen the community do is mind blowing. So if you're like me and maybe you're like, I'm not going to build anything with these blocks, that's really not the point. The point is that we're going to benefit from the community that will do amazing things with these and. Not only will we all be playing midship, I imagine probably by the end of the weekend after we release this, I'm sure, right? But it's just giving even more tools in the hands of forgers to do even more cool things. And we're going to see going forward this year, bringing more and more of that into matchmaking and helping to get it in front of more players. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Super excited about that.
Just love the Covenant pattern on there.
And speaking of customization, that was a great segue. With this update, we are now allowing for players to customize the color and the materials on certain biome objects. So obviously you've changed the color on this these flowers to red.
Yeah, I've got
or
red,
blue,
purple, blue,
um,
a little purple fern here, pink fern.
Yeah, this is another. The community's been wanting this forever, and we finally made it happen. And so, like now, if you're making a snow map, maybe you can have iced over or blue, blue foliage. You can change the color of trunks to be whatever you need it to be.
Yeah, I think I made this one yellow.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like such a minor thing, but it just offers so much more creativity, like options for
Yeah,
forgers,
it
right?
really
To
does.
really personalize these experiences and maps.
Yeah,
You can even get real crazy.
if you need a UNSC blue metallic dead tree stump, well, there you go. We got you covered.
That's so metal,
Okay, now I'm committed to learning how to use Forge. You got me. I've been waiting for that. That looks really interesting.
You could Husky Raid maps are kind of like a really good entry point to using Forge. There's even a template out there where all you would have to do is maybe tweak some colors and maybe some geo. So
All right, okay.
I know some people.
All
I'll
right.
hook you up.
I'll accept that challenge. I do love me some Husky Raid.
Yeah.
All right, so we got kind of a color and kind of texture swapping ability, and then what do we got here? Some splatters and splotches?
So similarly, we have a select group of decals that you can now edit the materials and colors on. So I've seen forgers use decals in all manner of way, shape, and form, and so this just sort of expands that functionality to let you use these things in much different ways. And Leaks B. Some of you might be familiar with this object. Here it is in all its glory. So if you don't want this to look like grime or dirt, you can change it. It could look like maybe it's a spilled liquid, right? Or whatnot. There'll be a million uses of all this
accidentally made like blood splatter.
There you go.
Yeah, you did,
Like
John.
I wasn't even going for anything. I was just fiddling with
You're
the
starting to
options.
take the stream into M territory.
Yeah, can't do
Update our
that.
ESRB logo at the front.
But again,
Yeah, tons of different things.
like the customizable biome stuff, like the decals, you're just going to see more different. That's a horrible phrase,
Yeah.
but more different experiences just visually.
Yeah, I cannot wait to just continually empower our amazing Forge community to just really push the limits of there is almost no more limit, right? Now, of course, the maps and sort of the geometry aspects of Forge is one part of the equation. But of course, Forge also allows people to do scripting and create brand new modes that we've seen. Some of the early favorites I know, like Repulse Soccer and things like that, right? So big changes coming on the mode front.
Yes, so huge changes on the mode front. With this new release on January 30th, we are introducing the Forge Mode Creator functionality, which basically allows you to create mode scripts within a Forge session and save that out as a mode. So that's going to be a boon to just sharing your mode. Previously, you had to embed the mode logic in the map. And so if you wanted to play a Repulse Soccer, which is a great example, you had to have that mode embedded, that logic embedded in each arena that you made. Now with the Forge Mode Creator, you just have to make sure that the map speaks to the mode correctly and has the correct objects talking to the mode. But then then you can share that mode much like you would share a mode that you create in Custom Game Mode Editor, right? So it uses the same flow that all of our other modes use. So it's a huge, huge improvement. And a bonus is that all that mode logic that was previously taking up your map budget is no longer going to take up that map budget, because now the logic gets saved and then it's in a mode separate from the map. So super excited to share this. Big shout out to Skybox, who helped us develop this. They did a great job on this. So I'm super excited to see what the players do with this, without sort of the map mode shared budget.
Sure. So they can
right?
increase, if they want to, increase fidelity and just sort of scope of their map, while the modes, meanwhile, become a lot more ubiquitous.
Exactly.
And I think it allows more sort of sharing and collaboration, where a community member can take a mode and now iterate on it, and it can start to snowball and branch off in other modes. And I think as a player, I'm excited to hopefully see all that starts to translate to these modes and experiences then coming back into matchmaking over time. And we all benefit as players.
Yeah, it'll make it much easier for player modes to come into matchmaking and playlists. So that's another side effect that's a huge plus.
So
Cool.
More power and easier to share.
Yes.
Awesome.
What's not to like?
I know.
Exactly.
You guys have been cooking. Shout out to the Forge team. We're not going to go on the weeds here today, but just want to acknowledge, too, there's additional quality of life updates, some bug fixing, some AI toolkit improvements. I believe there'll be a deeper dive blog coming out in the sometime
next week.
Yep,
Yeah,
on the
next
way
week,
to release. So stay tuned if you want to learn more about that. And then, Shore, I think we were hoping that I heard you brought a little tease with us. We want to give folks just a little small glimpse at what else the Forge team has cooking. This is not January 30th. We're looking a little further out here just for a future update. But what did you bring to show us here today?
So we have 2 screenshots. The first is of a future palette. This is the I guess, I don't think we have a name for it yet. It's the alien object palette. There's alien biome pieces. There's also more structural pieces that are not in this, but you'll learn about that in the future. Super excited about this.
It looks so good.
And how this might tie in also with the biome customization that's coming out soon, right? So lots of ways to make really crazy exotic landscapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also in the future, a fan favorite and highly requested is the Forge, the Flood Forge object palette. And this just looks, again, I mean, I say this every time. Our Forge our team is fantastic, and they absolutely crushed it. I saw this stuff in development, and it was just, it's gruesome.
It is.
It's hot. It's for people who maybe don't like to look at gruesome things. I was like, ooh, that's
It's
gross.
just disgustingly
That's
awesome.
really gross.
Everything's glistening. I'm going to say it, guys. This is a pretty moist palette.
He said that.
You said it.
But yeah, the having flood, like, so you can infect your
I hate
maps.
that word.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I told you I was going to say it
Yeah.
because
I didn't believe you, but here we are.
Hey, it's just a word. I don't know. Anyways, it's gross, but a big shout out to the Forge team. Really good stuff cooking. Again, reminder, those 2 palettes, we'll have more to share later. Those are just giving you a glimpse of some stuff that's actively cooking for future updates, but everything else prior is coming out on January 30th as part of that free update. Thank you so much, Sor. Before we turn you loose, to give you a chance if you have any kind of parting comments or any sort of final thoughts you'd like to say here in our first stream of the year.
As always, kudos and thanks to everyone who contributes to the community. You know, last year we brought in like 44 maps to Infinite from the community specifically, right? And this year I'm sure we'll eclipse that number. So keep them coming. We're super excited about that stuff. We love what you're doing, and we're doing our best to empower you to make stuff that's even crazier.
I can't wait. Can't wait to see the results, and I can't wait to play some Midship very soon. You know the mission.
Yeah, get on it.
Next up, earlier in the week, we had a chance to sit down and catch up with the playlist team and hear from Fantasia about what she and the team are cooking up and what we need to think about and know for playlist in sort of the near term. So take a look at that, and then we'll be right back. All right. Next up, we are thrilled to welcome first time on the show, Fantasia Gendro. Fantasia.
What's up?
Welcome.
Hi.
So welcome to the show. We're going to talk about playlists. Before we do that, though, just give us a sense, like, who are you? What do you do here at 343?
Yes. So I'm Fantasia. I am a playlists lead and insights manager. So I overlook all of our playlists, plan them out. I especially work with community playlists, huge part of what I'm doing right now. And for my insights part of my job, I work with all of our data teams in the studio. And we have so many: safety support, community, and UR. And what we do is I look at the data that we're receiving from all of these sources and make better decisions on the content that we're putting out to make sure that we're always iterating on what the players are asking for. Do we need to adjust this weapon? Does this map need tuning? Things like that.
Oh, sounds like never a dull moment. Safe to say we have no nonstop feedback coming in all the time,
yes.
right?
More feedback, love feedback.
And you have lots of experience doing that even before joining 343,
Yes,
right?
I come from Xbox Research. I was there for about 6.5 years. Loved it very much. Definitely coming from the side of wanting to provide the experiences that us as gamers always have. Create those memories together with your friends, with your family, and being able to be creative and explore worlds. And data actually really allows us to do that so that we can continue to make things that people are wanting or asking for. So it's really nice to have that background and bring it into playlists especially.
For sure. Well, I will just say thank you, and we'll assume all the great stuff that's happened in the game over the last 6 to 9 months. We'll thank you for that as being a tip of the spear there. So we definitely want to talk playlists because it's impossible to think about what's next for Infinite and what we can look forward to. Playlists are such a key part of that player experience. We've seen a lot of great stuff already starting to happen since the advent of Forge, game changer. But maybe to kick things off, just at a high level, as we look ahead to 2024, what are your priorities? Like, what are you and the team focusing on? Kind of just give us a sense of kind of where you're going and how you're thinking about playlists for Infinite.
Yeah, of course. There's some areas that we would like to bring more content into. So we are going to be doing a BTB refresh, of course. We've got a minimum of 3 maps planned for that. But we're also looking at refreshing the other playlists that we had, so Husky Raid, Squad Battle. But we're also planning content that we haven't published before. And that is something that I know our fans have been asking for. We're definitely looking for original creations.
So like brand new playlists.
Brand new playlists.
Nice.
We are always keeping an eye on custom game browsers, seeing what everybody has created. We definitely use tags that we've already put out to better sort through content depending on what we're looking for. But I mean, as time is going on and as like the year goes by, we're planning out content ahead of time to make sure that we're hitting those beats for like, the season's coming around. We want to have a map that's just like, wintry or something. And we'll use those tags within Custom Games Browser and Forge to help us better identify that content. But we also, again, use those data teams that we have, especially community, and we look at our Forge communities that are out there and we use them to also identify content that's being created. And it's amazing. There's so much out there. We definitely have our eyes on it. There's only so much that we could bring in at so quickly. So, but it's all coming.
I'm not sure everybody really realizes how much it takes and what goes into getting a map from the community into matchmaking. Is there a TLDR version? You can just help us kind of break that down for us. Like, what does that process entail?
Yeah, for sure. So how we like to go about it is, so say we have a playlist that we want to go after. And we will look into the customs game browser or, what we've seen before, and we'll start to look at the maps that are actually out there. And we will vet them ourselves by play testing them, seeing what is the level or the bar that the map is already at for a good quality experience. Will our players have fun? Will they enjoy it? And once we have assessed that map and decided that it's at pretty good quality already, we will then reach out to that forger, ask them if they're interested in working with us to get that map to an even higher bar so that we can put it out into a playlist and have our players enjoy them. And if that forger is wanting to work with us and do that, we will bring that map in and we'll have it go through test passes, QA. QA will, depending on where the map's at, sometimes there'll only be a few bugs, sometimes there'll literally be hundreds of bugs, and we triage those bugs together, bring them back to the forger. Forger works on that, and we do this back and forth for quite a while until the map is at a very solid state where we know when we publish it live, players will be able to enjoy it without worrying about any hitching, Z-fighting, like all of that. It takes quite a long time to get them from where they were in Customs Game Browser when we first saw it out to the public.
And that's in addition to the forgers having their own lives while they're trying to work on their own Forge creations.
Yes, and that is another reason why we've tried to bake in even more time. Like, so when we plan a playlist in advance, we want forgers to be able to have the time to work on their map. That also allows them to live their lives, because we understand that Forge creations are out of passion. Community-made content is always going to be, up to the forger in the end.
Yeah.
Sure. I have a question maybe for both of you, because John, I remember you did a lot of similar types of work during the Halo 5 era, helping to sort of curate, partner with the community to bring Forge content to matchmaking. But do you have some high level, like what kind of bugs or maybe what kind of tips would you offer to forgers who would someday like to have their content in matchmaking? What are some of the main sort of blockers or gaps that maybe you experience when you're reviewing this content that maybe a forger wouldn't think about initially?
I'm smiling because you said blockers or gaps. and 2 of those are things on maps that could be a problem. Gaps. If you've got a death pit on your map, for example, you want to make sure it's very clearly communicated as if you go down there, you will die, right? It is a acid pool, it's flames, it's something. If you have it just kind of look a little bit lower than the rest of your map, and then you die, a player goes in there and dies, they're going to be like, what the heck? I was expecting that I could traverse there. So you want to make sure things are clearly communicated on the actual golden flow of the map. And then blockers, you want to make sure people can't get outside of the map.
Yes, yeah. The majority of the bugs that we actually find, and so far that we've been finding in the maps that we've been putting out, is the out of environment bugs. So many of them. So many of them.
You can always get out of a map that
I mean,
people
we find,
have
I think that's the difference between, like, as a forger, me and my buddies are just kind of tinkering and playing on my map versus now exposing it to the masses, and it's just getting hammered by exponentially more people that maybe have nefarious intent, so to speak, and they could just grief the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's part of why that bar has to be so much higher, and thus the testing has to go through more scrutiny. We have to go back to the forgers and sort of continually have that iteration loop.
There's just really good jumpers out there, that
Yes.
want to get up there and see if they can break
Hey, I
the
mean,
map,
let's call a spade a spade. We have dev maps that we've also found the same, despite
People
rigorous
find
playtesting and
spots all the time.
QA.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it still happens, and it's a little harder for us to make those updates than it is via Forge content, I see. Now, I'd like to dig in a little bit more. You mentioned a couple playlists that the team's kind of actively cooking. First of which you mentioned BTB Refresh. I think people will be very excited to hear about that. BTB, we can agree, it needs a little love, right?
Absolutely.
It's time. So what can we expect with this initial refresh?
So we have 3 maps that are going in. First one would be Thunderhead by Dark Maiming. Second is Insolence by XDTX Chaos and Wolfrain. And then also by Chaos, we have Obituary. We've been working on those for quite a while, and they are going through their final iterations right now. Because BTB maps are so huge, they do take a lot longer to iterate on to make sure that everything is functioning correctly and to make sure every nook and cranny, which is looked at by our crazy QA team, is actually addressed so that we're not breaking anything.
Another area that I know you've mentioned to me earlier is the team's looking at updating the playlists for Firefight King of the Hill.
Yep.
And adding some additional maps into that as well.
Yes, we are. We're adding maps to that, and I would also love to see more Forge maps made by people that could support that mode, because we really want to add a lot of community maps to that playlist as well.
Yeah, we launched with a couple, but having some extras wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
And we're also still targeting the Firefight King of the Hill refresh also for next month as well.
Yes,
currently,
we
right?
are.
And I think the last near-term one that's kind of actively cooking right now is some updates to Husky Raid. Is that correct?
Husky Raid and Squad Battle.
Oh, and Squad Battle.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Now you're speaking our language.
Yeah. So when community playlists first started coming out, we really came out with those modes initially, and they've been around for a while. So we just want to build on those, but we're also, I'm not going to name them now, but down the road, we are definitely looking at original maps in brand new playlists as well. But we do want to, continue to add more content to playlists that came around. We weren't sure, how everybody would like them, and they were so beloved that they've become staples, which is why they're still in rotation. So we want to continue to add to those.
Cool. Well, I think last thing I was hoping to chat with you about, if we wanted to look a little further ahead as we think about playlists, obviously we sort of have the playlists as they exist today, right? It's a specific type of experience. You'll choose it and you'll just go find people to play with. But I've kind of already teased this a little bit publicly that we're also cooking up what I will just call sort of a match composer-esque functionality that should be coming Infinite a little bit later this year. How are you and the team thinking about that? Like, I assume that's very exciting for you all.
Yes, we're super excited because, we don't necessarily want our players to have to scroll so far down to find all the content. There's so much amazing content there, but there is the ability for content to be either forgotten or it's not at the top of the list, or we want to come out with more playlists, but that list is just going to get so long that this new capability would allow players to search more directly for what is the size of the team you want to be on and what's the experience that you want to play on, and that will allow us to add so much more content without worrying about it being hidden or without you having to scroll long for that.
Yeah, or I mean, honestly, I think a lot of fans will probably be excited to know that a lot of the things that today are rotational in nature, because maybe they're a little bit niche and they don't justify a full-time spot. In theory, I could search snipers anytime I want to once this update finally comes out a little bit later, right?
Exactly.
So all those rotationals kind of become evergreen at this point.
Yeah.
And obviously, I would still be, may have to wait a little bit longer, like the more granular I want to do my search, right? But we're just giving people a lot more flexibility to really, I just only want to play these experiences.
Exactly.
Again, a little bit similar to what MCC did, but a little bit of a different twist for Infinite. I'm super excited. I cannot wait until we bring that out, and just honestly, even thinking about all the content we already have today, and by the time this releases, every week we have more and more fortune. It's just gonna go really nice. I think it's the chocolate and peanut butter solution that we need to sort of making this content a lot more ubiquitous and accessible for players.
Yes, it's just going to be more and more and more, and I'm very excited for it.
Well, I guess any final parting thoughts or comments before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to our forgers and our community. You guys are amazing. You're so creative, and I just hope to continue to bring more, content from you guys, remakes, originals, anything you guys come up with. We want to look at it, we want to play it, and we want to celebrate that. So thank you so much for doing that, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you can look forward to the BTB refresh, the Firefight refresh targeted for next month, and then even more goodness still to come. So, Fantasia, I'm sure we'll see and hear more from you as we get closer to future updates.
Yes.
But thank you very much, and we'll get back to our main show here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sketch. Appreciate that. That was a weird cut, by the way, going in. Just seeing you sort of changed clothes instantly and shifted my seat. But a big thank you to Fantasia, and also pretty exciting news there about the Match Composer-esque functionality that's coming to Halo Infinite a little bit later in a future update. We want to talk about a few more of those, but before we do, we have a new guest on the set, so please welcome Mr. Tashi.
Hello.
Tashi, good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about HCS. We're eager to. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment and kind of build on what Fantasia was sharing about that Match Composer. And we want to share updates on a couple other a little longer lead key features that are highly requested by players. The team's been actively cooking on. And we just want to give you a status update on that. So, John, I'll throw it over to you. Let's kick it off. Talk about networking, something we've been hearing about for quite a long time.
Yeah, since launch, we've had pretty clear feedback that players wanted to see improvements to our networking model, right? Complaints about desync and stuff like that. And we wanted to make sure we addressed that. So you saw at the end of the last year, we rolled out a test with this a new updated networking model in Firefight King of the Hill, as well as a experimental playlist called the Combat Workshop, which took over Squad Battle for a little bit, and we got some great feedback from our players there. We addressed a lot of the issues, I'd say, with the previous networking model, but we've also, as part of that test, uncovered a few new bugs that we wanted to go after. But overall, we got a great reaction. Players were saying, this feels better, but please fix up a little bit here and there before you do a broader rollout. So that's what we're doing. We're taking the time, going to make those fixes. Some of the fixes are already done. I want to give a shout out to like Fusion Coil catching, the Banshee Bomb, right? As you're firing the turret, you swap over to the Banshee Bomb. That'll come out immediately. We've got some shot registration improvements, ping, the marking, making sure that's always consistently firing right where you're pinging. We've got those already fixed and even more on the way. So that'll happen. And then once we get it to a really, really good place, we'll do that broader rollout.
Awesome. And I always want to give a big shout out to everybody that took the time to not only kick the tires and play it, but also take the time to fill out the survey and share that feedback. Super important to us. You know, your feedback along with the data that the team's gathering is really helps us inform, are we on the right track here? Much like that cross-court journey that we referenced earlier, this has also been a passion project. So I want to give a big shout out to you and the team that's been really working away at this. I know, and patience on behalf of our player base, thank you. You know, we talked about this before, but we made the decision to sort of stop trying to play whack-a-mole and go after a little bug here, and actually sort of take a bigger step back. And I think the result is going to be hopefully very positive. So far, every indication is that it is going to be, and it's going to be a more significant change when it's ready. So that's cooking. That's coming in a future update. Also wanted to give a shout out to another feature that's been in active development for a bit here. And I'll just say another area of feedback we've heard from players since launch is kind of twofold. Players are interested in more ways to earn content in the game, but also they're interested in opportunities to earn content that they may have missed that would have come out before. So it could be anything from early operations events from the original days, and those things came and went. Could even be things like content that we just haven't even released yet.
Old weekly ultimate rewards.
Old rewards. We've had partnerships that sometimes have been bound by specific regions. So suffice it to say, there's a lot of content there, and the team is working on a way to help make sure that we can resurface that and give people the opportunity via an earnable vector. So I'll just kind of say MCC players might be familiar with something like Spartan Points and some of the work the MCC team did to try to also address earnable content, and that is the direction that the Infinite team is currently also exploring. So we will have more to share on that, but that is something that the team's heard and is actively working on, and we'll have coming in a future update.
Yeah, and then to help out, we also had one more cool piece of feedback that we've been getting around cheating and making sure we can address any cheaters and go after an improved like anti-cheat system. So we are going to be leveraging easy anti-cheat at some point this year. We're going to be putting that in to increase security in the game.
Yeah, that's, I think, very welcomed. It's obviously there's been quite a bit of feedback there, and it should at least help give us a leg up in the never-ending arms race of cheaters.
Yeah. So exciting stuff for 2024, but we also have HCS stuff for 2024.
Speaking of exciting stuff, yeah, this is your turn, buddy.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me. Shall we talk about ranked first?
Ooh,
Would love to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we have some exciting rank news to share today. So when Match Composer releases later this year, we're going to be adding Ranked Slayer and Ranked Doubles as permanent playlists to the matchmaking rotation.
Very nice.
So this has been very highly requested really since launch. These are kind of tried and true ranked playlists, and when we brought them in as rotationals, they perform really well. We've seen the data, a lot of playtime. So we're going to bring them in as permanent playlists, so they won't be going away. They'll be sticking there, and they'll be alongside Ranked Arena. So those will be the 3 ranked permanent playlists, and then we're still going to be rotating. So at any given moment, you're going to have 4 total ranked playlists. Ranked Tactical and Ranked Snipers will continue to be in the rotation.
Nice.
But we had 4 total, 2 are becoming permanent, so now we're creating 2 all new experiences and playlists to go into ranked rotationals. So lots of good ranked stuff coming this year, and excited to just chip away at some really heavy hitting feedback that players are giving us.
For sure, and not to keep hammering on this, but maybe we'll even see an awesome midship map emerge that we could convince you to put in ranked. So
Midship's my favorite map ever in
I
Halo.
just can't get it off my I'm still just obsessing
The
over
Covenant palette's so good.
it's
I kind of want to see it though in like the Flood palette. Like, what would that look like?
a flood
Floodship?
midship.
Yeah, Flood ship.
all right.
Oh yeah, and the
All
more
right.
kids can go nuts and like, oh, the Flood took over midship. That would be awesome.
Right to fin.
Porous Inquisitor.
Oh, dude, that is actually. I
No,
hate
wait.
you for coming up with that. That was so good.
Moist ship.
No.
Anyways,
That was better.
All
Okay.
right.
Community can vote. Maybe we'll do a Twitch poll.
Tachi, we opened the show talking about some of the new customization and the Mark IV and what
Yeah.
players can look for on January 30th. But of course, a new season of HCS means also a new season of some badass HCS customization options.
Yes.
So talk to us about what you're cooking.
Indeed, yeah. We actually want to start with a throwback, though. So at the end of 2021, obviously we released Halo Infinite, and with it was the HCS shop and all of those amazing launch bundles that were released with our partner teams. Well, we're going to be unvaulting those for the first time, but there's some cool new upgrades. So how about we just check out the trailer and see what's new? Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is a big one, yeah. It's been obviously highly requested since those came out.
Yep.
How can I customize my Spartan more? I mean, that's just been consistent feedback. And so shout out to the customization team. Have absolutely done an amazing job. So just to kind of break down what you saw, so we're bringing back the original team bundles from launch for the teams that are still remaining in HCS. and those will be available for sale and unvaulted in the HCS shop, and those will stay live from January 30th for the rest of the season. And if you've already purchased these bundles, you will get the retroactively applied the content for all of the other armor cores. So it originally came from Mark 7.
Yeah.
Now you can apply that coding to all of the cores, as well as the different weapons that are available for coatings in the UNSC. So
it used to previously just be battle rifle, right?
That's right.
And now it's all the weapons as well.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're all customizable too. So if you remember from launch, they're all kits. They're locked completely. You can't even change the emblem or anything. Now they're unlocked. So you can customize them however you want. You want to change the, you want to put a charm on it even, or change the emblem, whatever it might be. Just like with the other content that's in the game now, these are kind of, brought up to what we have. So if you've already purchased them, this will be retroactively applied. And if you haven't purchased them, now you get a second chance essentially at getting them, which is really exciting.
Nice. And even some of the other ones that won't appear back in the shop are
That's
also
right.
getting that upgrade.
Yeah, so some of the teams that are either no longer in esports or in HCS, those won't be available for purchase, but if you've already purchased them, again, all of that content is kind of retroactively applied. So you can customize your old, let's call it E-United things if you want.
Yeah.
Those are very exclusive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan would be pretty happy. He still wears his E-United battle rifle, I think.
I was going to say, like, the Envious, right? With the Optic Envy
It's
merger,
true.
the Envious one. Getting that upgrade, it'll be real nice.
Glad I got that early.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is obviously, like you said, something I know we've heard feedback on for a long time. So really cool you guys are going back and doing some retroactive updates. But, of course, we're also excited about the brand new stuff for Season 3. What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So year 3 of HCS is just around the corner. And, of course, again, January 30th, we'll have a new bundle, all new designs from each of our partner teams. And you know what? Rather than me talking, let's just roll the video and we can see them. There
Those
you
look
have it.
amazing.
Dude. All right, you got to break that down for us.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. So shout out to all of the teams. These are their original designs, original creations. We just give them the templates and they go nuts. And again, shout out to the customization team because the teams have more tech now. So you'll see like the actual patterns. You can see Cloud9, C9 it says in the visor, and you'll see a lot of the actual branding that the teams use in their social, their graphics, their jerseys, come to life now in the game. So pretty awesome. You get an armor coating. Again, it's cross-core, so it works across all of them. And you'll get the visor, too. Actually, you see the star in the visor.
star,
yeah,
Complexity.
it's
It's
great.
really,
Nice.
really cool. So that comes with it. However, there's also a really special new item, which is the Dracon Bandit. So it is a new weapon model, and it is one of 3 in a medals collection. So you can see there it actually has the demon medal there.
Oh, yeah.
On the bottom right, and that is fully customizable. You can apply any coding to that, and the only way to get it is to purchase one of these bundles and support whichever team is your favorite. And there are 3, so we're not going to show the other 2, but it's for the Grim Reaper medal as well as the Extermination medal.
Ooh.
So really excited to share those when they're released.
Those are coming a little bit later. Those
That's
other
right.
2. Okay.
Yeah, those will be later in the season. And yeah, those will all be releasing on January 30th. And again, majority of the profits go to the teams. So all of your purchases help the teams fund their involvement in the Halo ecosystem, helps with player salaries and things like that, and just helps this HCS ecosystem go. So thank you to everybody who's been supporting the teams thus far, and hopefully fans are really excited, for all the stuff that we're bringing that's new, and also all of the stuff that's unvaulted and updated.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Count me in. But of course, the customization is only part of the story. We
more?
can't have an HCS program
But
without
wait,
some events,
there's
right?
more.
Yeah.
We
Events.
actually need to have some competitive events that I assume are at the core of what you actually do for a living. So, Tashi, without further ado, we are very excited to hear what's in store for the roadmap and what are we doing this year.
Yeah, so HCS Year 3 is just a couple months away from its first kickoff event.
Oof.
And let's go ahead and reveal where this kickoff event is going to be.
Double kill has to be there is a punctuation point. Give it to him!
Tickets on sale now?
Tickets on sale now.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
really right now.
Really right now,
All
yeah.
right.
Halo.gg/Optic2024. Yeah, we're partnering again with Optic. They ran an amazing major last year, and so we decided to kick things off with them, bring it back to Arlington, Texas. And that will be the first event. It's in 2 months. And yeah, how about we just jump into the rest of the roadmap as well? There's a lot more to share. So
What's after that? Yeah.
So actually, to start, we've got online qualifiers in early February, and those all feed up into the Optic Major. And then next one, really excited to share, we're going back to Europe. So we're partnering with Quadrant for the Quadrant Major in London.
Nice.
This will be, we're finalizing all of the details. This will be in May, and we've got qualifiers leading up to that. It's actually the first major outside of the United States for Halo Infinite. So this is a really big deal. Fans have been going crazy asking for them. So we're going to London, and shout out to Quadrant, who've been amazing partners so far. And then we're, fans are always asking for East Coast. Well, we're going to Atlanta with the FaZe Major. This will be in July. And again, qualifiers leading up to that. And then we're bringing things to Salt Lake City once again with the Space Station Major. And, they're going to go nuts. That's September 6th to 8th. And then we're bringing it all back home to Seattle, October 4th to 6th for the Halo World Championship 2024. So lots of exciting stuff in the roadmap. And we've got the blog out now, halo.gg/2024 roadmap. It has a ton more info as well. It's got all of the online dates. It's got the map rotation. It's got a recap on the skins and bundles and whatnot and the full roadmap. So definitely check out the blog for all the other information.
Wow.
Dude, it's good stuff.
It's a lot.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys
A lot
been
of traveling.
cooking.
We're
Let
on
him
the road.
cook,
Well, and those
Yeah.
online qualifiers are literally just a few weeks away.
Yeah.
Things really start kicking off, right? So
Absolutely, yeah. We did the kind of big map refresh on January 9th, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback on that, and able to see more players jumping into the Ranked Arena playlist and playing too. So, we've got the Bandit Evo now as the new starting gun. It came out with Season 5, but this will be the first official HCS competition and events with the gun. So lots of changes. What I'm excited about is you have all new rosters, a new gameplay twist, and now we're going to see again, like, who's the best team out there. FaZe took it last year, but there's a lot of new and interesting rosters. And so, yeah, we're really pumped.
It's going to be a good year.
awesome. Well, shout out. I know it's been a lot of work from a lot of folks. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody across the HCS team. And like you said, too, customization team as well. All the content coming into the game looks fantastic. And like Tashi said, head over to Halo Waypoint. We have a lot more information. And if you're not already, make sure you're following at HCS on socials just to stay up to date on the latest and greatest for the Halo Championship Series.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. Well, guys, we're about ready to wrap things up here. I do want to talk really quickly. I've seen some questions in chat, and I just want to clarify. As we approach our January 30th release, basically people are like, well, what about season 6, or why aren't we calling this season 6? We're making a shift in how we're approaching Infinite going forward, and for MCC players, it's probably going to sound very familiar too. The gist of it is that we're kind of no longer referring to seasons. We're shifting away from seasons. So semantically, for what it's worth, our January 30th update will henceforth be known as CU29. It just kind of rolls right off the tongue, right? It has a lot more marketing weight to it. But no, in all seriousness, it is kind of the precedent we've established with MCC.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a different shift in approach here. As we mentioned at the top of the show, this future updates are going to be punctuated by an ongoing operations model that will continue to offer 20 tiers of unlockable rewards for free on approximately a 4 to 6 weeks cadence. That'll kick off a Spirit of Fire when that goes live on January 30th. Also, just to make sure there's no confusion, everything else we showed today, most of the things we showed. So the Mark IV, I want to clarify if you're joining us late, brand new armor core, totally free in the game.
Completely free.
Just log in, it'll show up in the armor hall. It's yours to keep and adorn however you'd like to. You can now do that more and better than ever before, especially with the addition of cross-core shoulders now. So shoulders, helmets, coatings work across every core in the game. So that'll all be part of January 30th update, along with the new map Illusion that John walked us through a little bit earlier today, the Forge stuff that we saw from Michael Shore, the Covenant palette, the mode creators. You can change the colors of trees and leaves and things that mean a lot to Forgers. But all that is also part of the January 30th update, as well as Tashi's information he shared. HCS shop goes live with the year 1 throwback content, as well as the brand new year 3 content we just saw. So that's all part of the free update that'll be landing on January 30th. And I'll just say from us here at the studio, it's going to be a very exciting year for Halo. We are off to an exciting start. We have a dedicated team working on supporting Halo Infinite and continuing to deliver going forward. But also, yes, we have additional teams now that are accelerating towards the future, working on brand new projects. So I just want to tantalize you with that. So there are a lot of things cooking here. We could not be more excited. As part of that, I also want to give a shout out. We're actually growing the team right now. So if you're passionate about Halo, if you've got skills and you're interested, please keep an eye on the Microsoft career site, because we are growing and we've got a lot of exciting things in the works for the future. So I think that more or less wraps us up. I do want to shout out, like I mentioned earlier, in the next week or so leading up to January 30th, please stay tuned to HaloWaypoint.com. We'll take a deeper dive on the new map Illusion. We'll take a little bit deeper dive into Forge. I think we'll have another closer look at some of the other customization content coming. So expect to see and hear a bit more on the way to January 30th. Also, I want to recap what myself said to Fantasia earlier, right? At least 2 committed playlist updates that we're targeting for next month as well, which would be the first time we're putting some Forge maps into BTB, which is going to be awesome, as well as expanding on the Firefight King of the Hill playlist with some additional maps. And I believe Fantasia also mentioned they're going after Husky Raid and Squad Battle as well. And of course, as the Forge community keeps cranking out amazing things, you can expect to see more and more of that start to come into the game in a meaningful way.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's been an exciting, we're back. It's good to be back after the break. I'm very excited for what's to come and what's ahead. I guess I'll just kind of open the floor, guys. I don't want to take all the air of the room. Any final parting thoughts or comments you'd like to share? Now's your chance.
No, I think for me, I've been at the studio coming up on 10 years now. I feel like this is probably the most exciting time for me that I've been at the studio. We have Halo Infinite rocking and rolling, lots of awesome stuff. HCS Year 3, which fans are really excited about and we're thankful for. And then you mentioned new projects. It just feels good to be around here. So thanks, everybody, for all the support.
I would just echo, thank you for the support, right? Infinite has been a wild ride, I would say.
Sure has.
And it's been exciting to see it grow over the past 2 years and continue that growth throughout this year. It's going to be exciting, like networking. We mentioned EAC.
Big ticket items.
Functionality, right? All these things. We've already done so much, and there's still so much more to do. It's going to be good.
And I'll just echo one more time as well. It's been none of this would be possible without the community and without your support, even through thick and thin. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for the nonstop feedback. A lot of the improvements and just the trajectory we're on is really in large part due to you all. So thank you so much. And I have to also just give a shout out to the 343 Industries team here, just sticking with it, grinding, keeping their heads down, and just really working away. I know some of these things have really been labors of love, and it's just very exciting to see it all start to come together now, from Firefight to AI Toolkit to cross-core story, and now as we look further ahead and think about major networking overhauls, it's all coming together, and it's all possible thanks to a lot of people in this building and partners scattered around that are just super passionate about Halo and want to do right by our players and want to make the best game we can. So thank you to everybody. And with that, we will be talking to you more next week. Stay tuned to HaloWaypoint.com and socials. January 30th, CU29 arrives for free in Halo Infinite, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot for joining us.